He or she must be young enough to serve on the Supreme Court for 45 years. I'm Laura Podesta, and I'll have more updates on the prerequisites the president said he's looking for when choosing the person to replace retiring Supreme Court Justice Kennedy.
And more meth labs are being busted in parts of Montana. Coming up, how the Drug Task Force says ordinary citizens can help keep the community safe from illegal drug activity.
6:30 on this Thursday. Chet Lehman, Missy O'Malley with you here. Our top story this morning, a big story. The big announcement from the Supreme Court this week did not have to do with the travel ban or unions. Instead, it was the announcement of retirement of Justice Anthony Kennedy.
That's right. President Trump plans on filling the vacancy as soon as possible. But as CBS's Laura Podesta reports, Democrats will try to take a page out of the Republican playbook and delay that appointment.
The retirement of Supreme Court Justice Anthony Kennedy has given President Trump an opportunity to reshape the nation's highest court.
We have to pick a great one. We have to pick one that's going to be there for 40 years, 45 years.
The vacancy gives the president a chance to turn the court more solidly conservative. At a rally in North Dakota last night, Mr. Trump said he was honored the 81-year-old justice chose to retire while he's in office.
Because he felt confident in me to make the right choice and carry on his great legacy.
Nominated by President Reagan in 1987, Kennedy was the key swing vote in decisive 5-4 rulings. He sided with conservatives on gun rights and Citizens United, and with liberals on gay marriage and Roe v. Wade.
We will vote to confirm Justice Kennedy's successor this fall.
Senate Republicans successfully blocked President Obama's nominee for an open seat before the 2016 election. Democrats say this appointment should wait until after the midterms.
Anything but that would be the absolute height of hypocrisy.
The Senate confirmation of Kennedy's replacement could hinge on Senators Lisa Murkowski and Susan Collins, two Republicans who support abortion rights.
I view Roe v. Wade as being settled law.
President Trump says he will nominate Kennedy's successor from a list of about 24 people. Laura Podesta, CBS News, New York.
Now, Kennedy's retirement takes effect July 31st.
Much more on that story.
Yes, much more to come.
We're right on the front edge of a whole bunch of news on that one.
Absolutely.
Meantime, we're right on the front edge of a little bit of change maybe this afternoon.
Yes. Showers and thunderstorms expected later this afternoon, so keep that in mind if you're heading out today. I know a lot of fishermen. I see a lot of boats floating around.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, there may be some thunderstorms, so you may want to get off the water by the mid-afternoon. Temperatures today into the 40s and 50s for the morning. Right now we're looking at the potential of these showers and thunderstorms picking up in intensity, especially into central and eastern Montana and back into North Dakota and northern South Dakota. Right now it's pretty quiet. You're seeing some returns on our radar. I don't think we're seeing anything. We're not getting any reports of any showers and thunderstorms. We should be into the 70s today. The afternoon holds the best potential of picking up some storms. We'll bring you the timeline on that from the Billion Auto Weather Patio in just a few minutes.
Thank you, Matt. 6:33 now on this Thursday. More meth operations have been shut down so far this year than in all of 2017. That's according to the Missouri River Drug Task Force. Just last week, 2 separate busts were made in Gallatin County alone. MTN's Mallory Peebles sat down with the task force commander, who tells us about one common thread between these cases.
You won't see them in a fleet of marked cars, but a collective group of law enforcement, local, state, and federal, are actively working together, cracking down on drugs across 7 counties in this region.
Approximately 20% of Montana's population, over 200,000 people, are within those 7 counties.
The Missouri River Task Force says its #1 priority is methamphetamines, and it's keeping them busy. They've shut down more meth labs in the first half of this year than all of last year, with 2 taking place in just a 1-week span. The most recent case, at this home off Hightower Road, was reported by someone in the community. Task Force Commander Ryan Stratman says tips like that are invaluable.
They know who their neighbors are. They know what's going on within the area, within the community.
And while the previous drug bust was prompted by an officer investigation, the 2 most recent cases have a common thread. Not everyone was local.
The methamphetamine that we see within our area primarily comes from out of state and out of country.
Even when the suspects or drugs come from outside Montana, the cost is shouldered here. Captain Stratman says it can take more than $20,000 to collect and dispose of evidence, which consists of dangerous chemicals.
We have law enforcement responding, processing, shutting down the lab. You have the fire departments, the hazmat teams, assisting the law enforcement with decontamination.
An issue impacting the community, whether you see it or not. Reporting from Bozeman, Mallory Peebles, MTN News.
By the way, the task force consists of officers from Gallatin County, several other county sheriff's offices, as well as the FBI, Bozeman Police Department, Drug Enforcement Agency, and more.
And Republican state lawmakers have started the process to possibly call a special session of legislature next month. Some GOP lawmakers say they want to consider proposals that would undercut a pair of voter initiatives likely to be on the ballot this fall on mining and tobacco taxes. If the lawmakers can agree, they would place a pair of competing referenda on the ballot this November or in a special election next January. They started the process Wednesday of polling all 150 legislatures on whether to call themselves into special session starting July 16th. Republicans control 91 seats at the legislature and need the votes of only 76 lawmakers to call the session. They probably won't be getting any help from the Democrats. Democratic Governor Steve Bullock, his office says the idea is, quote, absurd. And a U.S. Supreme Court ruling on union agency fees is being called a major blow to labor unions that represent public employees. But what does that mean for Montana? MTN's Mike Dennison has our story.
The biggest and most influential labor union in Montana represents teachers and state and local government workers, the 25,000-member Montana Federation of Public Employees. Its president, Eric Fever, says Wednesday's Supreme Court ruling is definitely a slap upside the face for public sector unions. But he doesn't believe it will cost his union much in money or membership, or silence its voice.
In losing their revenue, so to speak, we have not lost our capacity to be engaged in political action. We're going to continue to speak out on the issues we think are important and support the candidates who we think are good for public employees and the work we do and public programs and services.
The High Court said public sector unions can no longer require non-members covered by a negotiated contract to pay an agency fee to support the union's work. Those fees already do not pay for the union's involvement in campaigns. But the head of a free market think tank in Montana says that money has helped pay for union efforts that can be seen as political.
The act of collectively bargaining for a 2% pay raise for all public unions necessarily means diverting resources away from other public programs or increasing taxes. And that's a highly political decision.
Meade says Wednesday's ruling gives public employees the right not to pay to support union actions they oppose.
Of course, all of those employees are still free to join the union. It's only for those workers that don't want to subsidize that speech with their paycheck.
Fever says only about 2,000 public sector workers pay agency fees to his union.
We are not out of business because we have lost this revenue stream.
Oddly enough, Fever and Meade agree on one point. The ruling probably won't have a big impact on union membership in Montana because of our strong labor history. But they say that public sector unions, like this one, may have to work a bit harder now to recruit and maintain their members. Reporting from Helena, Mike Dennison, MTN News.
Now, the agency fees for MFPE non-members are about 75% of full union membership dues.
Shifting gears just a bit, with warmer weather around Montana, many people may be thinking about some home improvement projects.
That's right. In this week's Fraud Watch, MTN's Jonathan Imbarian looks at what you need to think about before hiring a contractor.
The Montana Office of Consumer Protection says as summer gets underway, they receive more calls from consumers unhappy with their contractors.
For about the last 5 years, it's been pretty consistent. We've seen around 100 complaints a year.
Investigator Marcus Meyer says the most common complaint is that the contractor simply never finished the job.
So they may have taken the money and never done the work, or there's been a delay in doing the work, or they've done part of the work but haven't completed the full contract.
Meyer says if you want to get the best contractor for the job, you need to do the research. That begins with knowing exactly what your job requires.
So they know what materials are going to be used, how much the project's going to cost.
Experts say consumers should get at least 2 or 3 bids in writing.
So they've gotten the name of multiple contractors. They've gotten references from those contractors.
Once you choose a contractor, they say it's important to have a detailed written contract, including costs and start and end dates.
If anything has changed through the project, that they have written confirmation for that if there's going to be additional work done or they need to buy additional materials to complete that contract.
Consumers can also contact the Office of Consumer Protection to see if any other complaints have been filed against the contractors they're considering.
So they can make an educated decision before hiring that contractor.
In Helena, Jonathan Amberian, MTN News.
Now, experts also remind consumers to be careful of the drive-by pavers who go door to door to offer low prices to repave your driveway. They say these are common scams. If you have any questions about contractors or consumer issues, you can contact the Office of Consumer Protection. You can also find more information on our websites. Very helpful.
Good advice there. Don't get caught.
Don't get caught. If it sounds too good to be true,
it is.
Absolutely.
There you go.
It is time for a quick break. When we return, we introduce you to a special Olympian from Butte who's about to take the national stage for competition.
But first, let's check in with Nora O'Donnell, see what's coming up at 7 o'clock on CBS This Morning.
Hey, good morning. Ahead here on CBS This Morning with Justice Kennedy retiring. We'll talk to the man who already helped choose a third of the Supreme Court nominees. His name is Leonard Leo, and he'll be here in Studio 57. He'll discuss what the president is looking for in a successor to Justice Kennedy. Plus, the new app claiming to tell parents whether their baby is hungry, fussy, or in pain based off the sound of their crying. We'll see you right at 7.